video. This is actually my second live stream in exactly 2 weeks. I did my 200 album live stream a week ago today, and that was an absolute blast. And today, of course, is January 20th, and I guess the year after an election year, January 20th is Inauguration Day. But every single year marks another year since Blood on the Tracks was released, the Bob Dylan record. And for those of you who know my musical journey, you know that Blood on the Tracks is my absolute everything. The reason why I tell stories in my songs, the reason why I do concept albums, that is all because of Blood on the Tracks. And so we're going to be paying tribute to that lovely album tonight. But before we dive into that, yesterday we got the news that David Crosby passed away. And for those of you who know the Byrds and know Dylan well, you know that they were very closely connected. And so I thought I'd lead this off with Mr. Tambourine Man. I thought about this for a little bit, and I thought, okay, is this just an excuse to um, do another Dylan song? But the fact of the matter is, and Joan Baez put this in um, an Instagram post last night, saying that she was talking to Bob Dylan at some point around 1965, and he told her, which I'm sure was a little insulting to her, but that the Byrds are the best thing happening in music right now, and I they're one of those bands that I really appreciate them, but to me, Bob Dylan always gets all the credit for folk music, and deservedly so. But he just absolutely loved the Byrds, and when they cut the song, David Crosby was still part of the group. So this is Hey Mr. Tambourine Man, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy, and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle, jangle morning, I'll come following you. Though I know that evening empire has returned into sand, vanished from my hand, left me blindly here to stand, but I'm not sleeping. My weariness amazes me, I'm branded on my feet. I have no one to meet, and the ancient empty streets too dead for dreaming. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy, and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle, jangle morning, I'll come following you. Take me on your trip, on your magic whirling ship. My senses have been stripped, my hands can't feel to grip, my toes too numb to step. Wait only for my boot heel to be wandering. I'm ready to go anywhere, I'm ready for to fade into my own parade. Cast your dancing spell my way, I promise that I will go under it. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy, and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Though you might hear laughing, spinning, swinging madly across the sun, it's not aimed at anyone, it's just escaping on the run. And but for the sky, there are no fences facing. And if you hear vague traces of skipping reels of rhyme to your tambourine in time, it's just a ragged cloud behind. I wouldn't pay it any mind. It's just a shadow you're seeing that he's chasing. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy, and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. Then take me disappearing. Then take me disappearing through the smoke rings of my mind, down the foggy ruins of time, far past the frozen leaves, the haunted, frightened trees, out to the windy beach, far from the twisted reach of crazy sorrow. Yes, to dance beneath the diamond sky with one hand waving free, silhouetted by the sea. Circled my circus sands with all the memories of fate, driven deep beneath the waves. Let me forget about today until tomorrow. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy, and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. All right, and that was Mr. Tambourine Man. I pieced that together not super long ago, although I did play that a couple of years ago for Dylan's 80th. Um, but yeah, like I said, Dylan's song, but cut by the Birds in 1965. And David Crosby's harmonies were just all over those Birds records, and he was just absolutely a phenomenal singer, songwriter, all of that. So even though he didn't write that one, his harmonies were just so tight on that record. And this is actually, even though this is a Blood on the Tracks tribute, this is a good segue into the first song on Blood on the Tracks, which is Tangled Up in Blue. And Tangled Up in Blue was a song that I remember hearing when I was like 4 years old. And my dad was, I think, taking me to school or something, and I heard it for the first time, and I just thought it was funny that in like the third or fourth verse he was singing about his shoe. I found that funny as a 4 year old, but then even so, I thought like, okay, there's something genuinely different about this that really perked up my ears. And the reason why I bring that up in terms of David Crosby is that Sweet Judy Blue Eyes was, the first song that I remember hearing that really got me interested in medleys. It was that, and maybe Amy and Fallen In and Out of Love. A little bit before that, but they were kind of right in that same realm. And, obviously I didn't know anything about David Crosby or any of the members at that point, really. Um, but just, again, something different about it. And that's a lot of how Dylan talks about his early influences, the Beatles, and going back even further to Little Richard and, um, all of the early pioneers of rock and roll. And so this is what did that for me, Bob Dylan wise. And this is Tangled Up in Blue, and I hope you enjoy it. Early one morning the sun was shining, and I was laying in bed, wondering if she changed at all, if her hair was still red. Her folks, they said our lives together sure wasn't gonna be rough. They never did like Mama's homemade dress, Papa's bank book wasn't big enough. And I was standing on the side of the road, rain falling on my shoes, heading out for the East Coast. Lord knows I paid my dues getting through, tangled up in blue. She was married when we first met, soon to be divorced. I helped her out of a jam, I guess, but I used a little too much force. We drove that car as far as we could and abandoned it out west. Split it up on the docks at night, both agreeing it was best. She turned around and looked at me as I was walking away. I heard her say over my shoulder, we'll meet again someday on the avenue, tangled up in blue. I had a job in the great North Woods, working as a cook for a spell, but I never did like it all that much, and one day the axe just fell. So I drifted down to New Orleans, where lucky was to be employed, working for a while on a fishing boat right outside the Delacroix. But all the while I was alone, the past was close behind. I seen a lot of women, but she never escaped my mind, and I just grew tangled up in blue. She was working in a topless place, and I stopped in for a beer. I just kept looking at the side of her face in the spotlight so clear. Then later on, as the crowd thinned out, I was just about to do the same. She was standing there in the back of my chair, said, "Tell me, don't I know your name?" I muttered something underneath my breath. She studied the lines on my face. I must admit I felt a little uneasy when she bent down to tie the laces of my shoe, tangled up in blue. She lit a burner on the stove and offered me a pipe. I thought you never say hello, she said, you look like the silent type. Then she opened up a book of poems and handed it to me, written by an Italian poet from the 13th century. And every one of them words rang true and glowed like a burning coal, pouring out of every page like it was written in my soul from me to you, tangled up in blue. I lived with them on Montague Street in a basement down the stairs. There was music in the cafes and night and revolution in in the air. Then he started into dealing with slaves, and something inside of him died. She had to sell everything she owned, and she froze up inside. And finally, when the bottom fell out, I think it went wrong. The only thing I knew how to do was to keep on keeping on like a bird that flew, tangled up in blue. So now I'm going back again. I got to get to her somehow. All the people we used to know, they're an illusion to me now. Some are mathematicians, some are carpenters' wives. I don't know how it all got started. I don't know what they do with their lives. But me, I'm still on the road, heading for another joy. We always didn't mean the same, we just saw it from a different point of view. Tangled up in blue. All right, and that was Tangled Up in Blue. Like I said, my first exposure to Bob Dylan, and just amazing, absolutely amazing. And interestingly enough, so this album was maybe not produced, but at least like engineered or mixed by Phil Ramone, who 2 years later would work on The Stranger with Billy Joel. And the reason why I bring those two things up together is because this came out 2 years, actually like 2.5 years before The Stranger did. And to me, the other song that I cite besides this one is Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, that like it's like a whole relationship, falling apart, and you keep on running back into them and whatever, but it's, in 6 minutes. So like I was telling my students about this and they're like, wait, that's not the whole album? And I said, well, the whole album kind of like backtracks and talks about the various things that went wrong, and when things starting to go right again and whatever. But there's definitely that connection, even though he didn't have anything to do with the songwriting on either. That's just kind of a funny connection. So the other interesting thing about Tangled Up in Blue that I know I've mentioned before, but I'll add something to that. He has, I think, 6 or 7 verses in Tangled Up in Blue, and about, I want to say like 8 even in It's All Over Now, Baby Blue, and none of those rhymes repeat, and that's just an inspiration to me. Um, and so that's really cool, and that's not even counting the rewrites. He changes the lyrics up when he plays live and all of that stuff, and so that all plays into it. So this particular album, when I kind of rediscovered it in 2015, it was really interesting to me. Because Tangled Up in Blue will always be my favorite since that was the first one that I discovered. But the track after it, Simple Twist of Fate, is like a very close second in terms of my favorite thing on the record. It's just beautifully haunted. And I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some theories that I just discovered recently. But this is Simple Twist of Fate, and I hope you enjoy it. They sat together in the park as the evening sky grew dark. She looked at him and he felt a spark tingle to his bones. It was then he felt alone and wished that he'd gone straight and watched out for a simple twist of fate. They walked alone by the old canal, a little confused, I remember well, and stopped into a strange hotel with a neon burning bright. He found the heat of the night hit him like a freight train, moving with a simple twist of fate. A saxophone someplace far off played as she was walking on by the arcade. As the line bust through a beat-up shade where he was waking up, she dropped a coin into the cup of the blind man at the gate and forgot about a simple twist of fate. He woke up and the room was bare. He didn't see her anywhere. He told himself he didn't care and pushed the window open wide. Felt an emptiness inside to which he just could not relate. Brought on by a simple twist of fate. He hears the ticking of the clocks and walks along with a parrot that talks. Hunts her down by the waterfront docks where the sailors all come in. Maybe she'll pick him out again. How long must he wait? One more time for a simple twist of fate. People tell me it's a sin to know and feel too much within. I still believe she was my twin, but I lost the ring. She was born in the spring, but I was born too late. Blame it on a simple twist of fate. All right, and that was Simple Twist of Fate, the second track off of Blood on the Tracks. Give me just 1 second. My mom is having technical difficulties. So, Simple Twist of Fate. Like I said, that's just I relate to that incredibly well, and there's so many lines in it. Maybe she'll pick him out again. How long must you wait one more time for a simple twist of fate? So how many times is this going to be good before it's permanent? Um, and then the in the last verse, the people tell me it's a sin. Excuse me, it's a sin to know and feel too much from within. Um, and that just really gets to me because it is. And I've actually been writing about this recently that you know, we'll get to this in a little bit, but I am very convinced that, some of the reviews of Idiot Wind, when that, was released on this album, were saying, oh, it's victim blaming and whatever. And to an extent, it might be. But I'm very convinced that if Taylor Swift wrote that exact same song, people would be like, oh, she's so brave. She's so courageous. And so I think that that's kind of a problem, and why this is actually a very brave line that it's a sin to know and feel too much from within. People tell me that, but I know she was the one for me. And that's just really interesting. So I was reading an interview with somebody, I can't remember who it was, but there were a bunch of musicians that covered 80 Bob Dylan songs for his 80th birthday. And this, actually, it might be on here. No, it's not. But anyway, this person was talking about the emptiness to which he just could not relate, and pushed the window open wide. And I just thought that was really interesting because what he was saying was that he interpreted that as a suicide attempt, and I had never thought of that before. And the next thing that my mind went to was, if that were the case, and then it says, um, hang on, felt an emptiness inside. And so then, like, in the next couple of verses, it says, that people tell me it's a sin, and he keeps on walking along and feeling all of this pain. And so if the suicide attempt was successful, then even in the afterlife, he can't escape that pain. And I know that sounds really dark, but that just occurred to me as I was reading that interpretation, and I just found it to be really, really fascinating. Um, but it's just a really interesting concept of, like, oh, did you forget about how awesome we were? And that's something that when I was writing for No Curtain Call, and that was before I was really into this song, uh, I had a song called Have You Forgotten? And it's definitely more fiery than this one, but it kind of gets at the same idea. So that's part of the reason why I refer to that album as my Blood on the Tracks. Um, that follows a lot of the same structures, lyrical themes, coping mechanisms, all of that. So that one is kind of interesting, Simple Twist of Fate, because it talks about, oh yeah, it's kind of nothing we can do about it, whatever. And now it's You're a Big Girl Now. That's the next song, and this is kind of you made the bed, now eat it, as my grandpa would say. And a little bit of that, which will be a smooth transition into Idiot Wind. But this is You're a Big Girl Now, and I hope you enjoy it. Our conversation was short and sweet. It nearly swept me off of my feet, and I'm back in the rain. Oh, yeah, you're on dry land. You made it there somehow. You're a big girl now. But on the horizon, sitting on a fence, he's singing a song for me at his own expense. And I'm just like that, but oh, singing just for you. I hope that you can hear me singing through these tears. And time is a jet plane, it moves too fast. Oh, but what a shame that all we've shared can't last. I can change, I swear. Oh, see what you can do. I can make it through. You can make it too. Love is so simple, to quote a phrase. You've known it all the time, I'm learning it these days. Oh, I know where I can find you. Oh, in some somebody's road. It's the price I must pay. You're a big girl all the way. A change in the weather is known to be extreme. But what's the sense of changing horses in midstream? I'm going out of my mind. With a pain that stops and starts like a corkscrew to my heart. Ever since we've been apart. All right, and that was You're a Big Girl Now. That was track 3. So we are on track 4 now. Again, we are celebrating Blood on the Tracks, which came out 48 years ago today, in case you were just tuning in. So this next one is one of my absolute favorites. And 10 years apart, Dylan wrote 2 of the best diss tracks of all time. Before that was even called that. But Dear Prudence often gets the nod for that, but that was released 3 years after Positively 4th Street, and so I consider that to be the first, one of the first, if not the first. But Idiot Wind is just one of my absolute favorites, and even Dylan admits he might have gone a little bit too far. But as I said earlier in the show, if Taylor Swift had written this song in these exact words, people would have been like, good for you for standing up for yourself. And that is a massive double standard that I do not appreciate. So here is one of my favorite songs off of Blood on the Tracks, and that is Idiot Wind. Someone's got it in for me. They're planning stories in the press. Whoever it is, wish they cut it out quick. When they will, well, I can only guess. They say I shot a man named Gray, took his wife to Italy. She inherited $1 million, and when she died, it came to me. I can't help it if I'm lucky. People see me all the time, they just can't remember how to act. Their minds are filled with Ming ideas, images, and distorted facts. Even you yesterday had to ask me where it was at. I couldn't believe after all these years you didn't know me better than that. Sweet lady, idiot wind, blowing every time you move your mouth, blowing down the mangroves heading south. Idiot wind, blowing every time you move your teeth. You're an idiot, babe. It's a wonder that you still know how to breathe. I ran into the fortune teller who sent me away with lightning that might strike. I haven't known peace and quiet for so long. I can't remember what it's like. There's a lone soldier on the cross, smoke pouring out of a boxcar door. You didn't know it, didn't think it could be done in the final, and he won the wars after losing every battle. I woke up on the roadside, daydreaming about the way things sometimes are. Visions of your chestnut mare shooting through my head, and are making me see stars. You are the ones that I love best, cover up the truth with lies. One day you'll be in a ditch, flies buzzing around your eyes, blood on your saddle. Idiot wind blowing through the flowers on your tomb, blowing through the curtains in your room. Idiot wind blowing every time you move your teeth. You're an idiot, babe. It's a wonder that you still know how to breathe. It was gravity which pulled us down, and destiny which broke us apart. You tamed the lion in my cage, but it just wasn't enough to change my heart. Now everything's a little upside down. It's a matter of angle, the wheels that stop. What's good is bad, what's bad is good. You'll find out when you reach the top. You're on the bottom. I noticed in the ceremony your corrupt ways that finally made you blind. I can't remember your face anymore. Your mouth has changed, your eyes don't look into mine. The priest wore blank on the seventh day and sat stone-faced while the building burned. I waited for you on the running boards near the cypress trees while the springtime turned slowly into autumn. Yeah, wind blowing like a circle around my skull, from the grand cooling down to the capital. Yeah, wind blowing every time you move your teeth. You're an idiot, babe. It's a wonder that you still know how to breathe. I can't feel you anymore. I can't even touch the books you read. Every time I crawl past your door, I've been wishing I was somebody else instead. Down the highway, down the tracks, down the road, ecstasy. I followed you beneath the stars, out in my own memory, and all your raging glory. I've been double-crossed now on the very last time, and now I'm finally free. I kissed goodbye the howling beast on the borderline, which separated you from me. You'll never know that I suffered, nor the pain I rise above. And I'll never know the same about you, your holiness or your kind of love. And it makes me feel so sorry. Yeah, the wind blowing through the buttons of our coats, blowing through the letters that we wrote. Yeah, the wind blowing through the dust upon our shelves. We're Indians, babe. It's a wonder we can even feed ourselves. All right, and that was Idiot Wind. Like I said, track 4 off of Blood on the Tracks, one of my absolute favorites. And just to kind of triple down on the Taylor Swift thing, the funny thing is there's a line in the last chorus, as you heard, that says, "We're idiots, babe," and she would never admit that about herself. So, could never write anything like it. So, ended discussion there. But we're on the last track of the first half of the record, and that is "You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go." And there are kind of speculations about who this song is about. There's Joan Baez, there's Susie Rotolo, but my money is on Susie Rotolo because she at some point said that she was from like Ashtabula or something, and so that or that they vacationed there or something together, and so that's one of those things that okay, yeah, it's almost certainly about her, and she's the person that he reconnected with when he and Sarah separated. But this is "You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go," and I hope you enjoy it. I've seen love go by my door, it's never been this close before, never been so easy or so slow. I've been shooting in the dark too long, and something's not right, it's wrong. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. Dragging lines so high above, I've only known careless love. It's always hit me from below. This time around it's more correct, right on tongue, it's so direct. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. Purple clover, queen and lace, crimson hair across your face. You could make me cry if you don't know. Can't remember what I was thinking of. You might be spoiling me too much love. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. Flowers on the hillside blooming crazy. Crickets down in Magnet falling around. Blue river running slow and lazy. I could stay with you forever but never realize the time. Situations have ended sad, relationships have all been bad. Mine have been like Belline and Rimbaud. But there's no way I could compare all those scenes to this affair. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. You're gonna make me wonder what I'm doing, spending all this time without you. You're gonna make me wonder what I'm saying. You're gonna make me give myself a good talking to. I'll look for you in Honolulu, San Francisco, Ashtabula. You're gonna end to leave me now, I know. But I'll see you in the stars above, in the green grass, and the ones I love. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. All right, and that was You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go, closing out the first side of Blood on the Tracks. So, this next song is the only blues song on the record, and it actually evolved from a song called Call Letter Blues that Bob Dylan did. And I haven't listened to that in a while, but Meet Me in the Morning is the one I know a little bit better. And the opening line, I always love this bit of trivia. The opening line, Meet Me in the Morning, 56th and Wabasha. At least in Minneapolis, there's a 56th and there's a Wabasha, but they do not intersect. And so that's a little bit of a fun fact for you. So this is Meet Me in the Morning, and I hope you enjoy it. Meet me in the morning, 56th and Wabasha. Meet me in the morning, 56th and Wabasha. Honey, we could be in Kansas by the time the snow begins to thaw. They say the darkest hour is right before the dawn. They say the darkest hour is right before the dawn. But you wouldn't know him by me. Every day's been darkness since you've been gone. Little rooster crowing, there must be something from above. Little rooster crowing, there must be something from above. Well, I feel just like that rooster. Whoa, let's start that over. Little rooster crowing, there must be something on his mind. Little rooster crowing, there must be something on his mind. Well, I feel just like that rooster. Honey, you treat me so unkind. Well, I struggled through the barbed wire, felt the hail fall from above. Yeah, I struggled through the barbed wire, felt the hail fall from above. Well, you know I Honey, you know I burned your love. Look at the sun sinking like a ship. Look at the sun sinking like a ship. Ain't that just like me, honey? When you touch my lips, all right. And that was Meet Me in the Morning. All right. So next, we move on to probably one of the, no, I'm just going to say the most obscure song of this whole record. And this is Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts. Most of the songs are really straightforward. This is very allegorical. And that's what makes it work. Yeah. Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts. Hope you enjoy it. The festival was over and the boys were all planning for a fall. The cabaret was quiet except for the drilling in the wall. The curfew had been lifted and the gambling was shut down. Anyone with any sense had already left town. He was standing in the doorway looking like a Jack of Hearts. He moved across the mirror room, set it up for everyone, he said. Then everyone commenced to do exactly what they were doing before he turned their heads. Then he walked up to a stranger and he asked him with a grin, "Couldn't you kindly tell me, friend, what time the show begins?" Then he moved into the corner, face down like a Jack of Hearts. Backstage, the girls were playing five cards, stood by the stairs. Lily and two queens, she was hoping for a third to match her pair. Outside, the streets were filling up, the window was open wide. A gentle breeze was blowing, you could feel it from inside. Lily called another bed and she drew up the Jack of Hearts. Big Jim was no one's fool, he owned the town's only diamond mine. He made his usual entrance, he was looking so dandy and so fine. With his bodyguards and singing in every air and place, he took whatever he wanted and he laid it all to waste. But his bodyguards and singing were no match for the Jack of Hearts. Rosemary combed her hair and took a carriage into town. She slipped in through the side door looking like a queen without a crown. She fluttered her false eyelashes and whispered. She muttered her false eyelashes and whispered in his ear, "Sorry, darling, that I'm late," but he didn't seem to hear. He was staring into space over at the Jack of Hearts. Lily was a princess, she was fair-skinned like a child. She did whatever she had to do and had that certain flash every time she smiled. She'd come away from a broken door and lots of strange affairs, with men in every walk of life which took her everywhere. But she never met anyone quite like the Jack of Hearts. The hanging judge came in unnoticed, and he was being wined and dined. The drilling in the wall kept up, but no one seemed to pay it any mind. It was known all around that Lily had Jim's ring, and nothing would ever come between Lily and the king. No, nothing ever would except maybe the Jack of Hearts. Rosemary started drinking out and seeing her reflection in the night. She was tired of the attention, tired of playing the role of Big Jim's wife. She had done a lot of mad things, even once tried suicide. Was looking to do one good deed before she died. She was gazing in the future, riding on the Jack of Hearts. Lily took her dress off and buried it away. Has your luck run out? She laughed it in. Well, I guess you must have known it would someday. Be careful not to touch the wall, there's a brand new coat of paint. I'm glad to see you're still alive and looking like a saint. Down the hallway footsteps were coming for the Jack of Hearts. The backstage manager was pacing all around by his chair. There's something funny going on, he said, I can just feel it in the air. He went to get the hanging judge, but the hanging judge was drunk. And that's the leading actor, hurried by the costume of a monk. There was no actor anywhere better than the Jack of Hearts. No one knew the circumstance, but they say it happened pretty quick. The door to the dressing room burst open and a cold revolver clicked. And Big Jim was standing there, you couldn't say surprised. Rosemary right beside him, studying her eyes. She was with Big Jim, but she was leaning to the Jack of Hearts. 2 doors down, the boys finally made it through the wall and cleaned out the main safe. It said they got off with quite a haul. In the darkness of the riverbed, they waited on the ground for one more member who had some business back in town. But they couldn't go no further without the Jack of Hearts. The next day was hanging day, the sky was overcast and black. Big Jim lay covered up, killed by a penknife in the back. And Rosemary on the gallows, she didn't even blink. The hanging judge was sober, he hadn't had a drink. The only person on the scene missing was the Jack of Hearts. The cabaret was empty now, with signs and closed for repair. Lily had already taken all of the dye out of her hair. She was thinking about her father, who she rarely saw. Thinking about Rosemary and thinking about the law. But most of all, she was thinking about the Jack of Hearts. All right. And that was Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. That is a marathon of a song. So I apologize if I fumbled some stuff there. But it's a great, great song. So this next song is, I mean, I could describe all of the songs as great and sound like Toby from Seinfeld, but this particular one, I've always really liked this song. And even though this is like a romantic song, it just reminds me of people that, I haven't seen in a long time that mean a lot to me and all of that. And this song took on even more meaning for me about a year ago when I started finally binging How I Met Your Mother and liked it way more than I thought I would. But there's a scene in the last season, one of the last episodes where the mother is, it's basically implied that she's dying. And after, they kind of reveal that, If You See Her Say Hello comes on, and I just melted down. This song was released 48 years ago on Wednesday? No, Tuesday. On Tuesday, so the 17th of January, it was released alongside Tangled Up in Blue. And man, I will tell you, I watched that episode again, and it was still emotional, not quite as emotional. But it was just a very well placed song, and that was before he, sold his the rights to his songs and whatever. So this is when he was still in control of it, and yada yada yada. So this is a really good use of that song. But anyway, this is If You See Her Say Hello, and I hope you enjoy it. If you see her, say hello. She might be intention. She left in last early spring, is living there. Say for me that I'm alright, though things get kind of slow. She might think that I've forgotten her. Don't tell her it isn't so. We had a falling out like lovers often will. And to think of how she left that night still brings me a chill. And though our separation, it pierced me to the heart, she still lives inside of me. We've never been apart. If you get close to her and kiss her once for me, I always have respected her and doing what she did in getting free. Oh, whatever makes her happy, I won't stand in her way. Though the bitter taste still lingers on from the night I'm trying to make her stay. Yeah, I see a lot of people as I make the rounds, and I hear her name here and there as I go from town to town. And I've never gotten used to it. I've just learned to turn it off. Either I'm too sensitive, or else I'm getting soft. Sun down, yellow moon, I replay the past. I know every scene by heart. by so fast. If she's passing back this way, I'm not hard to find. Tell her she can look me up if she's got the time. And that was If You See Her, Say Hello, the eighth track off of Blood on the Tracks, which turns 48 years old today. You turn a certain age, people say, "Oh, you don't look a year over," or whatever, and that's incredibly true about Blood on the Tracks. The songs just hold up so well; they're so well written, and it's just absolutely a stunning record. My friend Pete is a huge Bob Dylan fan as well, and he will often talk about Bob Dylan and send stuff back and forth and all of that, and he and I are both in agreement that Bob Dylan is the best to ever do it, the best to ever write songs. And the reason why is because if you start putting in like Lennon and McCartney and all that, you get into a great partnership of songwriters. And Bob Dylan has, for the most part, just written on his own. He collaborated with the band, a couple members of the Grateful Dead, Sam Shepard on one song, believe it or not. But it's just absolutely incredible. And this body of work specifically has just always spoken to me on a personal level. I just wish I could find it on vinyl because it would sound absolutely incredible. But you guys know, hopefully, that the next track is a song called "Shelter from the Storm." And before "Shelter from the Storm" came out, an early draft was a song called "Up to Me," and I've always meant to play it because it's just an absolutely fabulous line. The big kicker line from the last song, "If You See Her, Say Hello to Me," is either I'm too sensitive or else I'm getting soft. That has really just jumped out at me. And there are a lot of quotable lines in this one, but I'll point out my favorite after I get done with this. So this is "Up to Me." Everything went from bad to worse, money never changed a thing. Death kept following, tracking us down, at least I heard your bluebird sing. Now somebody's got to show their hand, time is the enemy. I know that you're long gone, I guess it must be up to me. If I thought about it, I never would have done it. I guess I would have let it slide. If I lived my life by what others were thinking, the heart inside me would have died. I was just too stubborn to ever be governed by forced insanity. Someone had to reach for the rising star, I guess it was up to me. Oh, the Union Central is pulling out and the orchids are in bloom. I've only got me one good shirt left and it smells of stem perfume. In 14 months I've only smiled once and I didn't do it consciously. Somebody's gotta find your trail, I guess it must be up to me. It was like a revelation when you betrayed me with your touch. I just about convinced myself that nothing had changed that much. The old rounder in the iron masks led me a master key. Somebody had to unlock your heart, he said it was up to me. Well, I watched you slowly disappear down into the officers' club. I would have followed you in the door, but I didn't have a ticket stub. So I waited all night till the break of day, hoping one of us would get free. When the dawn came over the river bridge, I knew it was up to me. The only decent thing I did when I worked as a postal clerk was to haul your picture down off the wall near the cage where I used to work. Was I a fool or not to try to protect your identity? You looked a little burned out, my friend, I thought it might be up to me. Well, I met somebody face to face and I had to remove my hat. She's everything I need in love, but I can't be swayed by that. It frightens me, the awful truth of how sweet I can be. But she ain't gonna make me move, I guess it must be up to me. Well, we heard the sermon on the mountain, I knew it was too complex. It didn't amount to anything more than what the broken glass reflects. When you bite off more than you can chew, you pay the penalty. Somebody's gotta tell the tale, I guess it must be up to me. Well, Dupree came in a pimp at the night at the Thunderbird Cafe. Crystal wanted to talk to him and I had to look the other way. Well, I just can't rest without your love, I need your company. But you ain't gonna cross the line, I guess it must be up to me. There's a note left in the bottle, can you give it to Estelle? She's the one you've been wondering about, but there's really nothing much to tell. We both heard voices for a while, the rest is history. Somebody's gotta cry some tears, I guess it must be up to me. So go on, boys, and play your hands, life is a pantomime. The ringleaders from the county seat say you don't have all that much time. And the girl with me behind the shade, she ain't my property. One of us has gotta hit the road, I guess it must be up to me. And if we never meet again, baby, remember me. How my lone guitar played sweet for you, that old time melody. And the harmonica around my neck, I blew it for you free. No one else could play that tune, you know it was up to me. All right, and that was Up to Me, like I said, off of off of Blood on the Tracks, off. It was an outtake, and once again, grossly unfair. Dylan's outtakes are just as good as the ones that actually made the cut. Like this one, Shelter from the Storm. So I've never heard a cover of this song before, but randomly when they were doing the like SNL from Home or whatever episodes a couple of years ago, 3 years ago that would have been, they had Coldplay on as the musical guest, and Chris Martin did an acoustic version of Shelter from the Storm, and it was actually pretty good. So this is Shelter from the Storm, my version. Was in another lifetime, one of toil and blood, when blackness was a virtue and the road was full of mud. I came in from the wilderness and reached a void of thorn. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. And if I pass this way again, you can rest assured I'll always do my best for her, on that I give my word. In a world of steel and death and men who are fighting to be warm, come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Not a word was spoke between us, there was little risk involved. Everything up until that point had been left unresolved. Try imagining a place where it's always safe and warm. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. I was burned out from exhaustion, buried in the hell, poisoned by the bushes and blown out on the trail. Hunted like a crocodile, ravaged in the corn. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Suddenly I turned around and she was standing there with silver bracelets on her wrists and flowers in her hair. She walked up to me so gracefully and took my crown of thorns. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Now there's a wall between us, something that's been lost. I took too much for granted, I got my signals crossed. Just to think that it'll mean and I'm in uneventful morn. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Well, the deputy walks on hard nails and the preacher rides him out. But nothing really matters much, it's doom alone that counts. And the one-eyed undertaker, he blows a futile horn. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. I've heard newborn babies crying like a dove, and old men with broken teeth stranded without love. Do I understand your question, man? Is it hopeless and forlorn? Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. In a little hilltop village, they gambled for my clothes. I bargained for salvation and she gave me a lethal dose. I offered up my innocence and got repaid in scorn. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Well, I'm living in a foreign country, but I'm bound to cross the line. Beauty walks on a razor's edge, someday I'll make it mine. If I could only turn back the clock to when God and her were born. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Oh my gosh, what an amazing song. I bargained for salvation, she gave me a lethal dose. Offered up my innocence, got repaid with scorn. It's half the verse right there. One of my other favorites that just like always makes me smile when I hear it is "Do I understand your question, man?" Just throwing that in. It feels out of place, but it fits so well. Um, and I promised you I'd reveal my favorite line from "Up to Me," and I immediately forgot. But of course, this live stream is called "The Only Decent Thing I Did When I Worked as a Postal Clerk," so that's definitely up there. But there's the line in there that says, "She's everything I need and love, but I can't be swayed by that." And I just think that's really an interesting line. The deeper I get to like find the exact right one, not just somebody who's good for me, but like you can't be swayed by the little things. Mrs. Bare Minimums of the world, if you will. Yeah, that's kind of how I interpret that. And speaking of still being lost, so Buckets of Rain. I always knew this was on the album, but it took me a couple listens to realize. Oh, wait a second, this is how the album ends. So there's no closure to it. And I think that's what makes this album work so well. It's just ultimately a very hopeless record. And I love that. So this is Buckets of Rain, and I hope you enjoy it. Buckets of rain, buckets of tears, got all them buckets coming out of my ears. Buckets of moonbeams in my hand. You got all the love, honey, baby, I can stand. I've been mean and I like it though. Got seen pretty people disappear like smoke. Friends will arrive and friends will disappear. If you want me, honey, baby, I'll be here. I like your smile and your fingertips. I like the way that you move your hips. I like the cool way that you look at me. Everything about you is bringing me misery. Little red wagon, little red bike. I ain't no monkey, but I know what I like. I like the way you love me strong and slow. I'm taking you with me, honey, baby, when I go. Life is strange, life is a bust. All you can do is do what you must. You do what you can and you do it well. I do it all for you, honey, baby, can't you tell? All right, and that was I'm sorry, that was Buckets of Rain. And that closes out Blood on the Tracks. Like I said, just a dynamite album, and a lot of people disagree with me that like, oh, it's the best Dylan record. The true fans don't have a favorite Dylan record because they're all amazing. And I mean, I love Blonde on Blonde. I love Highway 61. All of the classic albums, all of the albums that even got panned. Um, but just emotionally, there's something about Blood on the Tracks that's always connected with me, or that I've always connected with, whatever. And so I'm really happy to get to share this with you guys year after year. Thank you for listening, whether you're listening live or later on. I'm Minnesota Mike. And before I go, I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Tammy. She actually bought me this lovely fleece that I'm wearing tonight, and it says Minnesota Mike on it. It's monogrammed, and she was actually the one who gave me the Minnesota Mike nickname. So character-wise, there would be no Minnesota Mike without Bob Dylan, but my friend Tammy has done a lot to promote my music, and her daughter Amber, who I'm friends with, their whole family really. And so I really appreciate them for that. And I appreciate all of you guys. So thank you so much. And be sure to tune in to the next one whenever.